Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. This program is sponsored by the Southwest TV Translator Association and supported by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network, as seen on DCTV Channel 32.1.
The News at Noon program is the best news in the Four Corners area. We deliver a variety of news relevant to the Four Corners region.
We love to hear from you, so contact us with what you want to see covered. With that said, I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-host is Jerry Tope. Here's what's happening in the news for September 5th, 2016. The Dove Creek Medical Clinic recently received a $40,000 grant award from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, according to a report in the Cortez Journal. Awards are given based on high levels of performance in categories such as including improving quality of care, enhancing access to care, and advancing health equity. Operations Director Bill Washke said the Dove Creek Clinic will use the funds to enhance health care. It's pretty exciting, he said. Last week, we're glad to get it. It's the second such award the clinic has received, Wachke said. The clinic is a federally qualified health center and provides health care to patients who don't have insurance or are unable to get care elsewhere. The funds will be used to pay a portion of the wages for a recently hired social worker. The clinic is focusing on patient-centered medical home activities, and some of the funds will support them. The clinic is certified as a Level 2 medical facility and is working on a Level 3 certification. In a press release, Acting DHH Deputy Secretary Dr. Mary Wakefield said millions of Americans rely on health centers such as the Dove Creek Medical Clinic, saying these quality improvement awards will support health centers to continue to deliver superior health care that engages patients, improves care coordination, and bridges overall access to care.
The Cortez Journal reports that Gail Johnson, manager of the Cortez Cemetery District, has said that the Cortez Cemetery will start locking its gates because of theft and vandalism. The cemetery will be open only during operational hours, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday and weekends. A week ago, cemetery workers arrived to find an electric gas pump had been stolen and gasoline had been siphoned out of an external tank at the cemetery. Cortez police officers are investigating. People also have been coming in after hours and tampering with sprinkler heads, and workers found evidence that someone had been sleeping in the cemetery pump house. A few weeks ago, Johnson discovered someone who was jumping on a headstone and trying to knock it over. Johnson also cautioned visitors to slow down while driving through the cemetery. The district's next board meeting is at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, September the 7th at the First National Bank. The meeting is open to the public.
In Dolores County, the Cortez Journal reports that Rico is blessed with geothermal resources, but tapping into the underground hot water resource for commercial purposes within town is easier said than done and costly. The Colorado School of Mines recently completed a preliminary study of Rico's geothermal resources and presented 3 potential development options during a town meeting August 25th. People always speculate on how much something like a small hot spring spa would cost, said Rico Mayor Pro Tem Barbara Betts. This study is a more thorough analysis of those estimations. Paul Morgan, senior geologist and geophysicist for the college, reported that surface hot springs in the Rico area have low toxic elements and have temperatures ranging between 93 and 111 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty clean water, he said. Finding its source would require a much larger study. Becky Lefrancois, School of Mines economics professor and co-author of the study, evaluated the business potential for a small hot spring spa, commercial-grade geothermal greenhouse, and district-level heating of buildings. A developed soaking tub or pool that could hold 15 to 20 people, plus a 1,000-square-foot building, was estimated to cost around $631,000 to construct. Major costs are $100,000 for land, $320,000 for injection well and ground facilities, and $150,000 for the building that would include showers and changing rooms. Estimated yearly operating costs for the spa came in at about $174,000, labor costs estimated at $140,000, and administration, maintenance, supplies, and utilities was expected to cost $34,200. The study showed that the spa could break even in 10 years if it charged the Colorado average admission of $17 and attracted an average of 38 customers per day each year. A smaller hot springs development in town may be a possibility, Lafrancois said. Another option was laid out. These greenhouses tap into geothermal sources to heat the building enough to grow food year-round. The study used growing lettuce as an example product because of its short growing season. Startup cost for a 1,440 square foot commercial hydroponic greenhouse came in at $530,000. $15,000. The price includes $100,000 for the land, $320,000 for geothermal injection wells and ground facilities, and $93,000 for the greenhouse foundation equipment and utilities. Operating costs came in at just over $320,000 per year, including $260,000 in wages, according to the study example. The break-even and profitability predictions for growing lettuce garnered some chuckles from the audience. The study estimated that such a facility could generate 50,000 heads of lettuce per year. But even at $5 per head, there would be an annual loss of over $70,000. They said $6.42 a head lettuce would cover annual operating costs, but not cover initial investment. And finally, geothermal water could also be tapped and piped to buildings in Rico through heat exchangers or radiators, but its high cost and marginal savings were not seen as very practical. As an example, the study analyzed what it would take to heat 10,722 square feet at the Burley building on Glasgow Avenue in Rico. Estimated startup costs of nearly $730,000 included the land, injection wells, mechanical and distribution systems, and retrofitting the building. The geothermal heat would save the building $4,000 per year in heating bills. Annual operating costs were estimated at $8,000 per year. At that rate, it would be 182 and a half years to recoup the total development cost and 35 years to recoup the building retrofit cost. So it looks like the small-scale commercial springs might just be the best hot new ticket for growth in Rico.
For those of you wondering what smart highways are, here's a report from the Cortez Journal that will shed a little light on one part of what a smart highway system might look like. Travelers making their way along U.S. Highway 160 south of Cortez will find they are guided by a section of illuminated roadway near the Ute Mountain Ute Reservation. The Colorado Department of Transportation is using solar technology to enhance night driving for travelers. Rick Routh, CDOT Region 5 Traffic and Safety Engineer, said more than 200 solar LED lights were installed and embedded into the pavement of US 160 earlier this summer. The lights, used to delineate lanes after dark, enhance the nighttime visibility at 3 junctions: auxiliary lanes and merging lanes at the casino and the Toyoak Town entrance. The installed lighting will improve safety for motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians. Routh said this stretch of highway can see up to 7,000 vehicles daily, and the public has already begun providing positive comments on the benefits of the improved delineation at night through this busy corridor. A steel disc houses the small, energy-efficient LED bulb and a solar cell, which collects the sun's energy during daylight hours. The light bulb illuminates at dusk. The disc is set into the roadway just below the surface of the pavement, which allows traffic and heavy equipment, such as snowplows, to drive over the device. An initial inspection of the lighted area was recently completed by CDOT traffic and safety personnel. Meanwhile, CDOT maintenance crews will closely monitor the lighting for the next few months.
Love them or hate them, the prairie dog remains at odds with rural communities all over the Four Corners region. Reported in the San Juan Record News, even though the Blanding City sewer lagoons may be a paradise for local prairie dogs, the pesky critters have caused an estimated $100,000 in damages to their waste management system. An anxious Blanding City Council selected a repair option at the August 23rd council meeting, and it comes with an estimated $100,000 price tag. The method approved will use corrugated vinyl sheet pilings that are driven into the dam to create a barrier to further digging. The prairie dog holes will be filled with a special grout, and the prairie dog infestation will be monitored more closely. City officials state that the process should require 1 or 2 weeks of work to finish. The damage is to the winter storage pond, which holds clean water after the treatment process. The local prairie dogs apparently have an incredible work ethic. All of the noticeable damage was done this summer after a massive increase in the number of prairie dogs. This summer, so many prairie dogs dug holes through the side of the dam that water was leaking through the dam, putting the entire pond in jeopardy. City officials do not know how many prairie dogs were killed, but said that more than 1,000 were killed on an adjacent property in response to the activity. The prairie dogs have dwindled in numbers due to the intense eradication effort. And speaking of eradication, did you know that Cortez, Colorado is famous for the unique doggone prairie dog control process that was introduced by Gay Balfour back in 1996? According to Gizmodo.com, in a 2014 article, the system utilizes a modified sewer clearing truck to generate suction through a 4-inch diameter length of plastic tubing. Simply insert the tube into a prairie dog burrow, turn on the suction, and wait for the 2-pound critters to get hoovered up into the waiting holding tank. The system produces a high amount of suction and is able to whisk the rodents up the pipe at speeds topping 60 miles an hour, though baffles at the containment truck do slow them down to 15 miles an hour hour before exiting the pipe and softly tossing them against the padded walls of the holding tank. Once inside the air-conditioned truck, the dogs are doused with flea powder and kept fed with a supply of carrots and grain as they are being relocated. And now, let's take a look at the weather.
Most part fizzled, but I would still like to hear from you any rainfall amounts you had at any time from Thursday on through Sunday. So, you can call 677-4119 anytime and leave a message if you please to. We could use a weather radar here. Without one, it's like living in a weather-wise black hole, and there's too little data to make good rain forecasts and behavior models, and no way to get real-time severe weather warnings, blizzard duration accuracy, and so on. There's a high, dry pressure system moving in to our area from the west. So, showers and thunderstorms will be confined to the extreme northern mountains with very few isolated chances for southern parts of our region. Breezy southwest winds with steady winds nearing 20 for the afternoon will begin any minute now. Low dew point temperatures and dry vegetation over portions of the west central and southwest Colorado will result in critical fire weather conditions. Areas impacted include the Grand Valley, Paradox Valley, and the lower elevations of Montezuma and Dolores counties. So, a red flag warning has been issued from noon to 8 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time today. Tomorrow we'll continue this drying process and the windy conditions. Conditions through the remainder of the week at this point are expected to be clear and dry. However, take note of that blue blob in the bottom of your screen. It will turn red in the next image. Post-tropical storm Hermine is still circulating off and on the northeast coast. It is expected to continue to weaken, however, and move slowly away and pass south of Nova Scotia by Friday afternoon. Tropical moisture is expected to cause showers and thunderstorms over the Gulf states for the next few days. An almost stationary front extending from the northern plains and upper Mississippi Valley roughly southwestward to the Great Basin will produce showers and thunderstorms along and ahead of its boundary. The highest levels of precipitation are expected to be the greatest across the northern Intermountain region and eastward to the northern and central plains in the upper Mississippi Valley. Severe thunderstorm development and heavy rainfall will be present over that region today and tomorrow. The activity will expand into the Great Lakes region by midweek. Cooler air will overspread the northern Rockies and surrounding plains. For the long-range forecast for the Four Corners area, take a good look at the image. If you follow the western state line of Colorado in this image straight south, the lower part of this composite image shows the red blob, which was blue in the previous image, just off the west coast of Mexico and the tip of Baja California. It is being called Tropical Storm Newton, and at this time it is expected to move northward along the peninsula and the Gulf of California, and at some point should cause heavy rainfall across the southwest. It takes a really strong system like this to push out of the normal La Nina cycle, and hopefully, or not, as you near bean harvest, it is for now our next moisture threat. Highs for the next 5 days will be just plus or minus the 80 mark, and lows are expected to be in the 40s. Windy today and tomorrow with a red flag warning until 8 p.m. and don't be too surprised if another red flag warning is given for tomorrow for our area again. Last week's CO2 average was 400.98 parts per million, and week before last was 401.97 parts per million. 1 year ago was 398.49 parts per million, and 10 years ago 379.37 parts per million. Now back to the news.
In Monday's Marijuana Minute, the news update this week is the pricing drop year over year. Reported on Yahoo News Online, last October, the cost of a wholesale pound of cannabis was around $2,400 to $2,600. That price has almost been cut in half to between $1,400 and $1,600 last month, according to data from Tradiv, an online marijuana distribution platform. John Manlove, director of sales at Tradiv, told Business Insider in an email, "We've never seen prices like this." The reason prices are dropping so rapidly is because the market's getting flooded. As growers ramp up production, the huge amount of marijuana hitting the market in Colorado is causing a steady decline in wholesale prices regardless of demand. The story's similar for Washington State, where the price of legal marijuana has dropped precipitously since the first recreational dispensaries opened, according to The Cannabist. Wherever there's a legal market for marijuana, prices have been dropping. Manlove says that this has to do with the way cities in Colorado, like Denver, regulate the recreational marijuana market. In May, Denver's municipal government extended a moratorium on granting licenses to new retail dispensaries as well as marijuana cultivation facilities. This has allowed a minority of large cannabis business owners to buy and consolidate the remaining licenses. And without strict canopy limits, the amount of plants one facility can grow, the influx of marijuana into the Colorado market will continue to cause prices to drop. So Colorado growers with few limits and access to a huge market are able to build an economy of scale, reducing prices across the board. Though low prices are good news for consumers, cultivators will have to cope with lower profit margins on raw marijuana flowers. According to Headset, a cannabis intelligence platform, the highest margin products for dispensaries are those that make marijuana easier to consume, like edibles, beverages, and pre-rolled joints. If these trends continue, then raw marijuana will continue to get only cheaper. And it's likely that the retail market will adapt by pushing further into such higher margin products. The change in pricing won't affect the income of towns like Mancos as they gather transaction fees regardless of the amount spent at the stores.
Another Cortez Journal report tells us that a remote-operated cloud seeding generator is being installed in the mountains above Dolores in an attempt to improve snowpack and runoff into the McPhee Reservoir. The Dolores Water Conservancy District has partnered with the Idaho Power Company and Colorado Water Conservation Board on the project. Mike Preston, General Manager for the Dolores Water Conservancy District, said, "We're trying to take some leadership by upgrading the effectiveness of cloud seeding for southwest Colorado. Cloud seeders emit plumes of silver iodide into winter storm clouds to coax additional precipitation from those clouds. There are about 30 cloud seeding generators stretched in an arc from Telluride and Mancos to Pagosa Springs. Most of the units are 40-year-old designs and require an operator to turn them on and off when conditions warrant. Idaho Power has developed a more efficient remote control generator that can be placed in locations higher in the mountains and closer to the clouds they seed. The point is to get them out of the valleys and into the mountains," said Brandel Glynn, a cloud seeding engineer for Idaho Power. He said the problem with valley generators is that they always suffer from inversions, blocking the silver iodide from reaching the storm clouds. The remote generators allow you to get them up on the ridges so when the storms come through, they can be fired up remotely and inject the silver iodide directly into the cloud, Glynn said. The sweet spot for cloud seeding is stormy weather with temperatures between 0 and 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The silver iodide bonds with water molecules and forces them to fall to the ground. There is a misconception that cloud seeding creates clouds out of clear blue sky. Cloud seeding targets the wet, icy, juicy clouds that have a lot of excess vapor not being converted to precipitation, said Joe Busto, cloud seeding manager for Colorado WCB. He said a decade of scientific studies are showing that cloud seeding can increase storm precipitation between 1% and 5%. Through a cost-share agreement with the state, DWCD purchased one of the units for $35,000. It was installed August 30th in mountain terrain above 8,000 feet elevation north of Dolores. We're bringing in state-of-the-art machines, Bustos says. These allow us to get up close and personal with clouds, and we have total control over the machines remotely. They have satellite communications so we can turn them on and off with a laptop or a cell phone. Dolores Water Conservancy District has contracted with Western Weather Consultants to operate the area cloud seeding program, including the new unit. 5 western states, including Colorado, have earmarked $15 million in funds to cloud seeding equipment in the Rocky Mountains over the next 10 years.
Happy Labor Day, everyone. The last hurrah of the summer for many. On this long weekend without work or school on Monday, you'll find many locals camping all over the region. Whether a last boat ride, some ATV fun, or bow hunting or scouting, downtown Dove Creek feels even more quiet today. But one larger outside attraction for Labor Day in the Four Corners is the motorcycles. Last Thursday, gates opened in Ignacio to the 25th annual Four Corners Motorcycle Rally, which draws thousands of people from all over the country. There, attendees are met by an Indian Motorworks demo fleet, zipline challenges, and a slew of bands. Events in Ignacio, which occur at Rally Central at the Sky Ute Fairgrounds, continued through Sunday with entertainment staples, including motocross exhibitions, pin-up girl competitions, a hot buns contest, and a battle of the bands. Johnny Valdez, owner of the rally, said 65 events are held throughout the weekend, and some new ones this year, including a mudslide and a dirty balloon contest, which you have to see to believe, he said. The musical headlines of the weekend are Los Lonely Boys, the Ben Marshall Band, Third Time Charmed, Ralph Dinosaur and the Fabulous Volcanoes, and Thieves of Sunrise, among others. In Durango, motorcyclists hit the town for a street party at 10th Street and Main Avenue Friday and Saturday. A breakfast Sunday benefited Building Homes for Heroes at the Transit Center downtown, followed by a parade down Main Avenue. The Mayor's Run, started by Ignacio mayors in years past, takes motorcycles from Durango to Bayfield up to Vallecito and down to Ignacio, stopping at local partners along the way. Live music and events are also held continually throughout the weekend at Durango Harley-Davidson at 750 South Camino del Rio. A local charity partner is the Honor Bell Foundation, which rings a 1,000-pound bell at veterans' funerals at Fort Logan National Cemetery in Denver, as well as other veteran memorial services around the state at the request of families. As the crowds disperse, please do be careful of the motorcyclists to keep everyone safe on the roads. For more details on this rally, you can check out the online site at fourcornersmotorcyclerally.com.
Another upcoming event in the area reported by the Cortez Journal says it's almost time for the 18th annual Harvest Beer Festival, which will feature beers, music, and merchandise from local artists. Organizer Marianne Mate said the festival takes place from 4 to 9 p.m. September 10th at Parque de Vida in Cortez. Tickets are $30 for the day of the event or $25 in advance and include unlimited beer sampling. Non-drinker tickets are $20 and kids ages 15 and under get in for free. And no, neither of these tickets cover a DUI ticket, so take a designated driver, please. More than 600 people attended last year, and Mate said she hopes for more this year. The Piñol Project will provide activities for kids. Proceeds from the event will benefit the Montezuma Land Conservancy, which works with landowners to preserve agricultural, natural, and scenic spaces in Montezuma, Dolores, and San Miguel counties. This year's festival will include 12 breweries, including Mancros Brewery, Moab Brewery, and Farmington Hub Brewery and Grill. Mate said several breweries from Durango will make the trip to Cortez, including Ska, Steamworks, and Carver. Big B's Hard Cider will also offer drinks. The company produces ciders and juices using fruit from an orchard near Paonia and was a big hit at last year's festival. Dolores Bluegrass Band, Last Nickel, will provide music alongside Durango Country Grunge Band, the Lawn Chair Kings, who headline the bill. They're a really fun band. They do a lot to engage the crowd. A super silent auction also will take place during the festival. The auction will feature more than 100 items from vendors such as Osprey Packs and Patagonia, as well as local artisans. Tickets to Wolf Creek and Purgatory ski areas will be up for bid too at the end of the auction. The proceeds from the Harvest Festival go to the Land Conservancy's General Fund. Director John Leibowitz said in nearly 2 decades the organization has protected more than 42,000 acres of land, and 8,000 acres of potential conservation projects are in the pipeline. One current project is a 40-acre conservation easement near Gear and Carpenter Natural Resource areas in Cortez, Leibowitz says. The area would add more bike trails to that area. Montezuma Land Conservancy will continue to work with local landowners on various projects in the future.
In today's High Country happenings, Wednesday, September 7th, Remember the Railroad is a presentation on model railroading, railroad history, and the 1959 Rose Bowl Special. It will start at 6 p.m. at the Cortez Public Library, 202 North Park Street, with Kevin Loff, railroad enthusiast and model railroader. For more details, call 565-8117. Thursday, September 8th, Hospice of Montezuma is having their open house and ribbon cutting ceremony, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 512 North Broadway. For details, call 970-565-4400 or visit them online at hospiceofmontezuma.org. This Saturday, September 10th, is the 18th annual Harvest Beer Festival and Super Silent Auction that Jerry told you about. It's at Parque de Vida in Cortez. Discount tickets are also available at montezumaland.org. And the Bulldogs kicked off the high school football season last Saturday with a gorgeous fall-like day. A good game, but unfortunately they lost in a final score of 44-30 against Rangeley. Their next game will be this Saturday, September 10th against Plateau Valley at 1 p.m. in Colburn, Colorado. Congrats to the Dove Creek Volleyball girls team, who are now 3-0. All of these details are listed on our Facebook page. We are also embedding the YouTube replays at Facebook DCTV News at Noon. Please send your event info to us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get it on air. Again, thanks for tuning into this program. It's aired live at noon Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and then again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same sequence at noon, 2:30, and 8 each day, respectively.
You can also re-watch the news anytime. The YouTube video embedded in the DCTV News at Facebook, on our Facebook page, and interact with us by posting to those pages.
Tomorrow is Talk Tuesday. We'll have our first Dolores County candidate for the commissioner's race in studio for an interview, and live call-ins from you, the viewers, from 12:30 to 1. For Jerry Tope and all those working to bring you DCTV and the News at Noon program from Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kendra Cook. Thanks for watching.